Hello friends, my name is Raju. I am working as a lecturer in Government Polytechnic for Women, Warangal. In this lecture, we are discussing about different theorems, Norton's theorem, reciprocity theorem, maximum power transfer theorem. We know the theorems are very useful in some of the complex circuits. So we simply solve the problems using these theorems. In this, first one is Norton's theorem. Norton's theorem. So what is the definition of Norton's theorem, or what is mean by Norton's theorem? In the statement is any two-terminal linear network having a number of energy sources and resistances can be replaced by an equivalent current source IN in parallel with an equivalent resistance Rn, where IN is the current flowing through the two terminals when they are being short circuited. This means where Rn is the resistance or impedance between the two terminals when R sources, voltage and current are replaced by their internal impedances. Ideally, all voltage sources are being short circuited and current sources are being open circuited. So what is mean? It's simply reciprocal of the Thevenin's theorem. In Thevenin's theorem, any linear bilateral network represented with the one voltage source in series with the one resistance, that is called voltage is called V Thevenin's, resistance is called R Thevenin's. In the similar way, in the Norton's theorem, the whole network is represented with the current source in parallel with the resistance. Here current source is called I Norton's and resistance called R Norton's. So simply in this, any network we take, so if you want to apply the Norton's theorem, then across any element, in Thevenin's theorem, across any element, we remove the element and find the voltage across that element, or resistance or capacitance or inductance, any one. In the similar way, if you want calculate the IN or I Norton's, then short circuit that element. If you apply the Norton's theorem in any network, if you want to apply the it replaced by current source, short circuit current source across the terminal. We short circuit the element, then find the current. That current is called Norton's. In similar way to the Thevenin's theorem, in Norton's theorem also, if you want to find R Norton's, we open that element, where we apply the Norton's theorem, open that element, at break terminals, we find the equivalent resistance. When we find the equivalent resistance, we short circuit the current source, we short circuit the voltage source, and we open circuit the current source. Then we find the resistance. That resistance is called R Norton's. In this way, we find I Norton's and R Norton's. This is the block diagram of Norton's equivalent circuit. So here is the original network. First two diagram represents the original network. All elements and sources, current source, voltage source, resistors, capacitors there. Then we want to apply the Norton's theorem here. Then what can we do here? We short circuit the output terminals. Then after short circuited, we find the current I. That current is called Norton's current IN. Norton's current IN. Then find the R Norton's. Then we connect the I Norton's and R Norton's in parallel nature. Then that is called Norton's equivalent circuit. Here IN is equal to short circuit current, Rn equal resistance of the network viewed through RB, viewed through AB, RL is equal load resistance. So what is the procedure to find Norton's equivalent? Already we discussed. Just briefly explain. I am briefly explain the procedure. First of all, short circuit the terminals with respect to which the Norton's equivalent is desired. Next, calculate Norton's equivalent current IN through short circuited terminals using KCL or nodal analysis. Next, open circuit the terminals A comma B. Find Rn by replacing all voltage sources with short circuit and current source with open circuit. Replace the original circuit by Norton's equivalent circuit. Next, find current through RL equal to, RL formula is here IL equal to I Norton's into RL divided by Rn plus RL. Next, voltage formula is VL equal to IL into RL. VL equal to IL into RL. So here is the sum of the problems, example problems. Here the circuit is shown in the figure. Find the Norton's equivalent at terminals A and B for the given circuit. Also find IL and VL. So where we apply the here Norton's theorem? Across terminals, across AB terminals, that is RL equal to 3.6 ohms. So in this circuit we know, if we want to find the Norton's theorem, IN, we short circuit the AB terminals, and when we find the R Norton's, we open the AB terminals at open terminals to see the what is the impedance, equivalent impedance from the open terminals. So first of all we find the R Norton's. So first we will do open circuit the AB terminal, From that broken point we find the equivalent resistance, that is equal, when we find the equivalent resistance, if there is any voltage source, the voltage source is short circuited, and if there is any current source, the current source is open circuited. Here the voltage source is present, 10 volts present, so the 10 volts is short circuited. The next, here after 10 volts is short circuited, then 4 ohms and 6 ohms are parallel in nature. So equivalent Rn equal to 4 into 6 divided by 4 plus 6, according to voltage dividing Rn equal to 4 into 6 by 4 plus 6, that equal to 2.4 ohms. After finding Rn, we want to find IN. How do we find IN? For IN calculations, we short circuit the AB terminal. After short circuiting the AB terminal, 3.6 ohms is disappear because of short circuit in parallel with the 3.6 ohms. Then 3.6 ohms is disappear, or 3.6 ohms is short circuited. Then the short circuit in parallel with the 6 ohm resistor also. So here 6 ohm resistor also equivalent to 6 ohm. Here impedance is 0, 6 ohm and 0 impedance in parallel, 6 into 0 divided by 6 plus 0, that is equal short circuited 0. So here only 4 ohm resistor is present remaining all are dead. So current I in the loop equal to V by 4. I equal to V by 4, that equal 10 by 4. So here because of, if we short circuit the RL, 6 ohms and this AB short circuit is in parallel, the parallel combination of short circuit and any resistance is equal to short circuit, that is means zero resistance. So here only 4 ohms present, then current IN equal to 10 by 4, that equal to 2.5 amperes. Now we find IN and here we find IN and RN. So we replace with the whole circuit with IN in parallel with the RN, then connect the 3.6 ohms load. In this way we solve the circuits using Norton's theorem. Here is another example is there. Use Norton's theorem to determine the current flowing in the 3 ohm resistance of the network shown in figure below. The voltage source has negligible internal resistance. Here 24 volts is there, voltage source 24 volts. There is resistors 20 ohm, 5 ohm, 10 ohm, 3 ohm, 5 by 3 ohms. Where we apply the where will we apply here the Norton's theorem? Across 3 ohms. We will apply the Norton's theorem. So when we apply the Norton's across 3 ohms, first of all we find the RN and IN. So here first short circuit current ISC through 3 ohms. 3 ohms resistor short circuited, first step. Then find the short circuit current ISC across 3 ohm, along 3 ohm. Following, first the branch containing the 3 resistance is short circuited, that is the 3 ohm resistor is short circuited ISC. Next, from the equivalent circuit shown in figure C, here after short circuit the AB terminals, short circuit in parallel with the 10 ohms. So it means it's provided zero resistance. The equivalent resistance is zero resistance. So equivalent resistance is zero resistance. So here equivalent resistance is 0. Then here only 5 ohm resistor and 20 ohm resistor appears, and 24 volts sources appears. Then ISC across 5 ohms resistor ISC across 5 ohms resistor ISC flows. So across 5 ohms we find the current, that is equivalent to short circuit current ISC. So ISC equal to, according to current dividing rule, 24 into 20 divided by 20 plus 5. ISC equal to, here we apply the voltage dividing rule. So here exact 24 volts appears across 20 ohms, so Is is equal to 24 by 5, because 20 ohm resistor is in parallel with the 24 volts voltage source. Across 20 ohms also there is a 24 volts present. So simply I equal to V by R, 24 divided by 5, that equal to 4.8 amperes. Next we find the R Nortons. We will find the R Nortons. When we find the R Nortons, first of all open the terminals AB. If any voltage source or current sources represent with their internal resistances, here voltage source is present, then that's why we short circuit the voltage source. Then if the 24 volt source of EMF is removed, the resistance looking at break made between A and B obtained from figure D and equivalent circuit shown in figure D. Then R equal to here short circuit in parallel with 20 ohms, that means short circuited at 0 ohms. Next 5 ohms and 10 ohms appear as a parallel here. So parallel combination of 5 ohm and 10 ohms, the resultant resistance equal to R equal to 10 into 5 divided by 10 plus 5. So 50 divided by 15, that means 10 by 3 ohms. So here Rn and In is solved. So In and Rn is called Norton's equivalent, and Rn is equal Norton's equivalent current, and Rn equal Norton's equivalent resistance. So here from the Norton's equivalent shown, here Norton's equivalent is equal to ISC 4.8 amperes in parallel with the Norton's resistance 10 by 3 ohms, and there is a resistances, load resistance is how much load resistance? Here load resistance is 3 ohms. Load resistance is equal to 3 ohm. So from that one we find the current I equal to 10 by 3 divided by 10 by 3 plus 5 by 3 plus 3 into 4.8 also. You use the current dividing rule, then we get 2 amperes. Across load the current equal to 2 amperes, or across 3 ohm resistor the current equal to 2 amperes. In this way we apply the Norton's theorem. Next, advantages of Norton's theorem. Useful to simplify complex circuits. Second advantage is applicable to both DC and AC circuit. These theorems are useful to find current or voltage in only one resistor. Useful to find the maximum power delivered to load. Used to determine the power supplied by the actual generators in the circuits. Cannot be applied to network which contains nonlinear impedances. Cannot be applied for calculating the power consumed internally. Cannot be used to determine the efficiency of the circuit. Next we will discuss about reciprocity theorem. So what is mean by reciprocity theorem? Here the statement is, in a linear bilateral single source network, the ratio of excitation, voltage or current source to response, here excitation is sources, response is current or voltage. Response current or voltage is constant even when the positions of excitation and responses are interchanged. If the position of response and sources are interchanged, then the ratio of excitation to response is constant. If the interchanging also, the ratio is constant. That is called reciprocity theorem. The network which satisfy the reciprocity theorem, then it is called reciprocal network. So in this, the excitation is the sources, voltage source or current source. The response is voltage or current. Here the reciprocity theorem can be understood easily by using example network. Here excitation is Vs, there is a network and there is a excitation is Vs and the response is load current I1. Then the network with source at input and load at output. In the second network, the network load at input and source at output. The network with source at output and load at input. In the first case excitation Vs, second case excitation Vs. Response is in the first case I1, response in the second case I2. So here is excitation by response is constant. Excitation is Vs, response is I1, Vs by I1 equal to excitation is Vs and response is I2. Vs by I1 equal to Vs by I2. Vs by I1 equal to Vs by I2. So here excitation by response is constant. Vs by I1 equal to Vs by I2. So here is one example for reciprocity theorem. Verify the reciprocity theorem in the circuit shown in figure below. Verify the reciprocity theorem in the circuit shown in figure below. Here current source is 10 amperes in series with 1 ohm resistor and 2 ohm, 3 ohm. Here excitation is 10 amperes and response is Vx across 3 ohms. We find the voltage, that is the response Vx. So first here excitation by response 10 by Vx. We want to find 10 by Vx. First the voltage across Vx is the voltage Vx across the 3 ohm resistance. Vx is equal to 10 into 2 into 3 by 2 plus 3. Here Vx is equal to 60 by 5, that equal to 12 volts. Simply we apply the, here current is flowing 10 amperes. This 10 amperes flowing to 1 ohm. Then we apply the current dividing rule. 10 into 2 divided by 2 plus 3. 10 into 2 divided by 2 plus 3, that is equal to 4 amperes. Then 4 into voltage Vx is equal to 4 into 3 ohms, that is equal to 12 volts. Next we change the response and excitation. Then 3 ohms resistor replaced by 10 ampere source, and response is, here excitation is 10 amperes, that is replaced by Vx. Then Vx is equal to 10 into 3 into 2 divided by 2 plus 3, that is equal to 12 volts. In both cases response Vx is same. In the both cases, response Vx is same. That's why the reciprocity theorem is satisfied. The reciprocity theorem is verified. Hence, the reciprocity theorem is verified. Next, let we see the maximum power transfer theorem. So, what is maximum power transfer theorem? What is maximum power transfer? Where we use the maximum power transfer theorem? The maximum power transfer is mostly used in power to a where we want to power is maximum delivered to the load. Where for some of the applications we want the power that if any distortion is there, no problem, but we want to supply the maximum power to the load, then at that place we use the maximum power transfer theorem. So for the maximum power transfer to the load, what is the conditions required? What is the conditions required? In this theorem we discussed. So maximum power transfer theorem, the statement is maximum power can be transferred to the load from a source when the load impedance is a complex conjugate of the source impedance. When the load impedance is the complex conjugate of the source impedance. Here source is Vs, voltage source, impedance Z equal to R plus Jx, source impedance is R plus Gx, where R equal to resistance, X is equal to reactance, load impedance then complex conjugate of R plus Jx equal to R minus Jx. So in this circuit, when the maximum power delivered, the condition is Z is equal to R plus Jx, ZL is equal to R minus Jx. Here load impedance is complex conjugate of the source impedance. Maximum power transfer theorem for DC networks. Maximum power transfer theorem for DC networks. The statement is maximum power is delivered from a source to load when the load resistance equal to source resistance. So here the load resistance is equal to source resistance, then only the maximum power is delivered to the load. Here is the proof for RL equal to RS, that is source resistance is equal to load resistance. If we simply take one circuit, the voltage source is equal to Vs, the internal resistance of the source is equal to Rs, then the load is equal to RL. So here what is the condition required for to maximum power delivered to the load? What is the condition? Here the condition is the current in the circuit is, first of all find the current I equal to V by R, total resistance, Vs by Rs plus RL. Then power delivered to the load RL is equal to P is equal to basic formula I square R, P equal to I square RL. From the above equation, I square equal to Vs square by Rs by Rs plus RL, Vs by Rs plus RL whole square, that is equal Vs square by Rs plus RL whole square into RL. So for differential equations, from the differential equations, to determine the value of R for maximum power, dP by dRL equal to 0, dP by dRL equals to 0, d by dRL V square RL by Rs plus RL whole square, Rs plus RL whole square equal to 0. Here this is a U by V method. Differentiation U by V dash is equal to B U dash minus U V dash by V square, V U dash minus U V dash by V square. When we do the differentiation, then we finally get the value equal to Rs equal to RL. we do the calculations. Rs plus RL whole square is minus 2RL plus RS plus RL equals 0. RS square plus RL plus 2RS RL minus 2RL square minus 2RS RL equal to 0. RS square equal to RL square, RS equal to RL. We do the calculations. Finally, we got RS equal to RL. So maximum power will be transferred the load when load resistance is equal to the source resistance. Load resistance equal to the source resistance. Hence the maximum power transfer theorem is proved. Hence the maximum power transfer theorem is proved. Here maximum power equation is Vs square by 4RL or Vs square by 4RS. The two equations is same. Maximum power formula is equal to Vs square by 4RL or Vs square by 4RS. Here some of the problems we discussed upon maximum power transfer theorem. Here there is one problem. Determine the maximum power delivered to the load in the circuit shown below. So here RL is there, 50 volts, 10 ohms, 5 ohms, 2 ohms, 3 ohms and RL resistance. So the maximum power, we find the maximum power delivered to the load across RL. First of all, before we going to calculations, we find the Thevenin's equivalent across the load. We find the Thevenin's equivalent across the load. For the given circuit, let us find the Thevenin's equivalent circuit across AB. Let us find Thevenin's equivalent circuit across AB. Here the total resistance. If you find the across Thevenin's equivalent across RL, we open the RL. At that point, we find the VThevenin's. That means across 3 ohm resistor, we find the voltage. That is the Thevenin's voltage. Here the total resistance RT. The total resistance RT equal to 3 plus 2. These two are series. It is in parallel with 5. 3 plus 2 parallel with 5 plus 10 ohms. In series with 10 ohms. So 2.5 plus 10 equal to 12.5. So here total resistance RT equal to 12.5. Then the current IT equal to 50 divided by 12.5. 50 divided by 12.5, that equal to 4 amperes. Total current is equal to 4 amperes. This 4 amperes divided between 5 ohms and 2 plus 3, again 5 ohms. So this equivalent to this is divided into two parts, across 5 ohms and across series combination of 2 and 3 ohms. Across 3 ohms, I3 equal to IT into, according to current dividing rule, 5 divided by 5 plus 5, that equal to 4 into 5 divided by 10 equal to 2 amperes. So Thevenin's voltage, the current is, we got the current 2 amperes. Then Thevenin's voltage is equal to VTH, V equal to IR. VThevenin's is equal to 3 into 2, that means 6 volts. So here Thevenin's resistance is equal to 1.9. Then we find Thevenin's resistance. We want to find Thevenin's resistance. We open the terminals A and B. Then short circuit the 50 volts. Then 50 volts is short circuited. 10 ohms and 5 ohms appears as a parallel. This combination in series with 2 ohms. Again this is in parallel with 3 ohms. We do the calculations here. Then we got the R Thevenin's value. The R Thevenin's value equal to 1.92 ohms. Then we replace the entire circuit with Thevenin's equivalent. 6 volts in series with 1.92 ohms, and then connect the RL circuit. Then connect the load resistance RL in series with this circuit. For maximum power transfer, formula is V square by 4RL or Vs square by 4Rs. Here V square is equal to 6 square, that is 36 divided by 4 into Rs, 4 into 1.92 ohms, that equal to 4.68 watts. 4.68 watts. So in this way we find the maximum power. So there is another example is there. Find the value of load resistance when the RL is drawn the maximum power. Also find the value of maximum power delivered to the load. Simple. This is a simple circuit. They are already given voltage source, voltage source in series with internal resistance 25 ohms, and we want to find RL. The maximum, when the maximum power delivered to the load, the source resistance is equal to load resistance. That's the condition. The source delivers the maximum power to the load when the load resistance is equal to source resistance. That's why the load resistance RL equal to 25 ohms. Then here we want to find the maximum power. First we find the current I equal to 50 divided by I equal to voltage by total resistance, 50 divided by 25 plus 25, that equal to 1 ampere. 1 ampere flowing through the circuit. Then the maximum power, the power formula equal to I square RL, that equal to 1 square into RL 25, that means 25 watts. 25 watts. So in this way we do the calculations on the maximum power transfer theorem. Thank you very much.